I want you to know the sergeant has his own special project. He is suffering from sickle cell anemia, and he has a project to help all of those and to get the resources together to educate and to reach out. Give him another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, why are we here today? What is the meaning of this meeting? When I started out a few minutes ago, I alluded to the fact that our community seems to be very quiet, not speaking out, not recognizing the danger that we're in. There are those who would say that we're complacent. There are those who would say they're waiting on others to speak up for them. I have known all of my life that nobody is going to do more for us than we do for ourselves. And so, while we're convened here today, we have learned that my colleagues in the Congress of the United States did pass a short-term continuing resolution last night to keep the government going until next Friday. So, the government is not going to shut down now. I don't know if we deserve any applause for that, but we didn't want the government to shut down. People are depending on their paychecks and their services, so let's give them a round of applause for the government not shutting down right now. And you know, we're going to have to vote on Wednesday on the deal that was cut for the permanent continuing resolution through the end of the year. We've got to find out everything that's in this deal. And so I want you to pay attention. I want you to go up on the internet. I want you to listen to the news, because we have to know what the details are of these negotiations. Don't forget, a resolution passed the House, H.R. 1. It had $61 billion in cuts. $61 billion in cuts. If you've gotten our flyers, you will see that there are a lot of programs in danger. Head Start, public housing, disabled housing for the seniors, after-school programs, low energy assistance programs. Even Social Security technology that's responsible for getting those checks out is in danger. And they're going to come after Social Security and Medicare in the next 2012 budget, trying to reduce Medicare and Medicaid, send block grants to the states instead of paying for the needs of the states. They say, we're only going to give you so much money, do what you can with it if you run out too bad. That's going to be in the 2012 budget. But right now, we want to know if the Democrats have agreed in this negotiation to $39 billion, and that's too much for me, in cuts. What are they cutting? We want to know the details. So while we applaud the fact that the government didn't shut down, we know the devil is in the details, and I will be there on Wednesday, and I will be on radio and television. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what the details are. And so, we have some community organizations here, some with petitions, some asking you to sign up to implore your government not to cut deeply into the programs. Why are they doing that? They're doing that because they know this government gave tax breaks to the richest 1% in America. They know that this government is spending your money on wars that we don't need to be in. You still have your resources and your taxes being spent in Afghanistan and Iraq, and then we had the audacity to go into Libya. We want our resources brought back to this country. We want our schools supported. right wing to get rid of the health care reform, that they've taken that out. There's going to be a separate block, a vote over in the Senate. We cannot lose comprehensive health care reform that we fought so hard for and we worked for and finally got passed and signed by the president. Now they're trying to take it back. I need you to email, to fax, to phone, to write to all of your elected officials. I want you to write to the two leaders of the House, Nancy Pelosi and Bonner, and I want you to write to Senator Reid on the Senate side, and I want you to send a letter to the President of the United States. Tell him, don't back down, don't give in, don't be intimidated, fight for what is right, fight for the resources that we deserve. And so, these cuts that we're talking about not only potentially will harm us in ways that we know and understand, we're still reeling from this recession. We're still reeling from unemployment. While people are screaming about unemployment being 10% in parts of this country, it's been 25 and 30% in many of our communities for a long time. We need jobs. We need the infrastructure repaired. We need people working on the roads and the bridges and the streets. We need to put the American taxpayer dollars to building up this infrastructure. Not only do we need the safety and security of a good, sound infrastructure, we need the jobs. Can I hear you say jobs? Jobs! 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 We want jobs. We want the members of Congress to stop bickering, to get this budget done, no government shutdown, and get busy with job creation. We're still reeling, as I said, from the recession, lack of jobs, but right around this community where we're organized, the foreclosures are taking place every day. They're taking homes from seniors. They're taking homes from people who simply wanted to be a part of the American dream, who wanted a house, who were told if you just sign on the dotted line, don't worry about the down payment. Don't worry, they have these teaser rates. Don't worry about the rates resetting. All kind of schemes have taken place, and now they're taking it out on the people who simply wanted that home, who work every day, who could afford that home if they had not got tricked into the kind of mortgage that they cannot now afford. We've got to speak out about this. I'm sick and tired of us being silent. It's time to let them know we're not going to take it. What did we say? We're not going to take it. We're not going to take it. We're not going to take it. And so, we want our government to work. We want our government to be fair. We want our government to respect all of its people. We are taxpayers. We are American citizens. We have been taught that the American dream for everybody. We want a dream, not a nightmare. It's time for us to get busy. Not only do we need to write, and we need to email, we need to fax, we need to do all of that, but leading from this day on, if they don't hear us, we're going to organize the biggest march they've ever seen. We're going to march straight to the federal building by the thousands. We're not asleep, we're not afraid, and we won't allow ourselves to be intimidated by anybody. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for coming out and showing your interest and your concern. We have with us today many of our elected officials who could get away. Some are still stuck in Washington, but we have some from around the area, the city council, the state legislature, and they're here today. And we want them to take a minute to show you that they showed up. Not only did they show up, they care about what is going on. With that, I want to get my list, and I'm going to get started. We have elected officials, we have ministers, we have organized labor, and we have community leaders and folks who run programs. In this organizing effort, we have almost 70 organizations that came together to bring you out, and we're going to bring them all across this stage in just a moment. Now, let me get started with introducing some of our people who are here today that you need to know about. First of all, Councilman Bernard Parks is in the house. Councilman, would you please come forward?
Thank you, Congresswoman. I think we are, as Congresswoman said to us earlier, we can't give anybody the impression that we don't care. We can't give anybody the impression that we don't know what's going on. Every cut that they're talking about in the federal government will play out on our city streets. We are the people that are getting the recipients of those dollars. We need to make sure the federal government knows that they just can't put all the cuts in human services. Human services are the things that keep our elderly, our disabled, our youth. Those are the programs that we rely on. Those are not programs that are funded by the city. Those are programs the federal government is responsible for. That's your tax dollars going to Washington and coming back to help you. So we want to make sure they send the message that we are not going to tolerate it, that H.R. 1 must go. 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 Thank you. Do not let this meeting be your only meeting. Do not let it be that it was a great day, the sunshine was out, we had a great festival and everybody was happy, and we go away and forget about the issue. This is a day-to-day event until it's changed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have two of our state legislators that are here. We have some more that are coming. Assemblyman Isidore Hall.
How many of you are fed up? How many of you are fed up? How many of you are really fed up? How many of you cannot take it no more? I'm fed up and I can't take it no more. I am here today to represent all the folk that are fed up and can't take it anymore. Because it is a reality that poor people are always taking cuts. Rich get rich, poor get poor, paid for by the middle class. Each and every time. Last year we were talking about cuts to education, we were talking about cuts to health care, we were talking about cuts to economic and job development opportunities, and each and every time it's the poor people of these communities, of our communities, that are getting the brunt of the cuts. We got to tell the Republicans that I don't care what you do, we will march on Washington, D.C. if we have to. We've got to send a message to Barack Obama, tell him to be the man that he is and don't back down. Because the black folk need jobs, we need houses, we need health care, we need education for our kids, and our senior citizens must be protected. And so as much as we can, we need to give Congresswoman Maxine Waters a round of applause for being the roaring lion in Washington, D.C. They tried to shut her down, but she cannot be shut down. They tried to set her down, but she cannot be set down. They tried to tell her to be quiet, but everybody knows Maxine Waters cannot be quiet when you're talking about things that affect her community. And so we as elected officials are standing with her today. We're standing unanimously, collectively, saying that we will not take the cuts that they're trying to put on the people, on the backs of the working people of America, on the backs of the working people of the state of California. So again, thank you for your participation. Thank you for your support. And do not get tired of being fed up. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Assemblyman Steve Bradford.
Good afternoon, It's truly an honor to be here and join my colleague Isidore Hall, but most importantly the City Council people from the City of Los Angeles, Carson and Gardena and all the surrounding communities in standing in solidarity with a true soldier, a true warrior, Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Give her a round of applause. Please understand that what you see today is a culmination of 2 weeks worth of work. When Maxine said, I'm going to speak out on HR 1, she called us and we said we were going to be here, and we're here, but more importantly, we want to thank you for being here today, because it's you who we're fighting for in Sacramento, in Washington, and in our communities. And I'm here to tell you right now that the cuts that the Republicans want to cut are the vital programs that we as people of color, both black and brown and Asian, depend on every day. Education, health care, housing, for our disabled citizens, for our senior citizens. And we're here to say we're mad as hell and not going to take it anymore. We're mad as hell and we're not going to sit quiet anymore. It's not enough today, though, to show up. We need to stand up, we need to speak up, and maybe we have to show out. So I'm here today to show out with all of you to say, Republicans, if this is America you want, I don't want no part of the American budget that the Republicans are bringing forth to us. It's hard to follow a preacher, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to follow Isidore Hall. But I'm going to say, we cannot kick people when they're down, and that's what our Republican colleagues want to do. We need to send a strong message that we will not take these cuts. We will not take them. Not only are they offensive, but we feel that we can do better as America. This is not reflective of the America that we've come to support, believe in, and build up. That's not why I went to Sacramento. That's not why Maxine Waters went to Washington, D.C. That's not why we have folks in LA City Council and the surrounding community. We're here to stay. We're standing with you. Be strong. Stand up. Let your voices be heard. Thank you.
All right, Councilwoman, City Councilwoman Jan Perry is in the house.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman, and it's a joy to see all of you out here today. A lot of you know that I'm your neighbor to the east and go all the way down to 96th Street. I represent the highest concentration of homeless people in the state, in the area known as Skid Row. Now, we made a lot of progress over the last 10 years, building more housing, permanent supportive housing for people who are disabled, for people who are mentally ill, for people who just don't have a home and need a place to recover, with support services on site. And with the money we get from the federal government that goes through the county, we are able to fund those social services so that people don't keep falling through the cracks and end up back out on the street. So when you talk about the cuts that are going to be made, all they're going to do is to force more people back into homelessness, and that's exactly what we don't want. So I ask all of you, the cameras here today, to take a look at this crowd and photograph it in the widest shot possible, so when the Congresswoman goes back to Washington, D.C. to vote on Wednesday, that people know that she is not alone, and that we lift her up, and that we stand with her because she stands for us. Thank you very much.
I understand there's an announcement about to be made about some cars that may get towed if they don't move. Do you have an announcement to make?
Wireless hands.
Check. Yes. There are cars on Century Boulevard, right outside the park. Here on the north side of Century, you're going to be ticketed and potentially towed. So if your car is parked over there towards Western Avenue, please move it now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You don't need to be giving any more money to the city for any parking tickets. So, yeah, move it now. Ladies and gentlemen, the city of Inglewood has a new mayor. Mayor James Butts. Please come forward.
Good afternoon. How many people out here pay income taxes or know somebody pays income taxes? I I say that for a reason, because they would have you think that the money that comes back from Washington to our cities and states is somehow a gift. That's your money, and it's supposed to come back to you. I'm going to give you three numbers. $800 billion. That's about the money that we spent to bail out billionaire corporations in Wall Street. $1 trillion. That's about the amount of money we spent to invade, occupy, and rebuild Iraq and Afghanistan. $125 billion. That's the total debt of the 50 states. That's what it would take to make all the states in the Union whole. But we can't spend that. We can't deficit spend to bail our states out. That's not right. You often hear the Republicans talk about America first. Well, we need to take care of our American cities and our American people first. Before we rebuild other countries, we need to take care of our water systems, our roads. We need to take care of our jobs, Head Start, the things that are going to make America great. So this just makes sense, and I want to thank the Congresswoman for standing up for all of us, because now it's time to make our voices heard. Thank you.
Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call on a number of elected officials